things up a little bit, and also I think this is a little bit easier for you guys to follow. So I thought we'd give this a go, and we'll see how we get on really. So today's lesson is really looking into AI and how it's programmed. This will be part one of a series of videos looking into programming AI into Unreal. And yeah, the main thing is we're going to take one step at a time, and we're going to see how far we can get with this AI, with programming AI in Unreal. What we're going to be looking at today's session really is setting up the basics and laying down the foundations for setting up an AI. And by the end of this initial sort of video, we're going to have an AI that will wander around randomly within our 3D level. We're going to be using obviously blueprints, we're going to be using behavior trees, and also Blackboard as well as and I'm just going to call this character to move around and have animations associated with it. So we want to cover anything on the right lines up with their feet, which by the looks of things it is. Cool. In the direction of the forward movement. So here I'm just using the shortcut keys W, E, and R. So W to default to directional movement, E to change to rotational movement, and R for scaling. Okay. So from this, so we've got more or less set up. We just need to just one more thing. We need to apply an animation class for this mannequin, and for this, which can default to, where is it? Third person animation BP.
Hey guys, it's Jackson here.
Hello guys, Mark Ball here. Welcome back to episode 4 of the login. You will find the animation middle mouse button and radiate tiers. That character mix mode to even fighting animation. Focus on you can essentially character on so new animation. I'm gonna go ahead with. You can just click with skin, click download, and then there's so whenever you're using mix mode animations where the character is moving, you want to make sure that you click FBX. Go ahead and click download FBX and download that. Just a default third-person pro animation. I'm just gonna name this our content import these. This is going to convert the import options here in a second. So we can go ahead and take the mix mode base and drag it and drop it into our content browser, you're going to see this FBX import options. Pops up. Since this is the skeletal mesh, we're going to import the skeletal mesh, import mesh, and then you scroll down here. You want to make sure that you convert scene unit. So this is going to convert the units of character to match up with the Unreal units. This is very important, especially if you're going to be using the physics asset, which I'll talk about later. And you can either create the materials or not, it doesn't really matter. So we'll go ahead and click import. As you can see here, we've imported the mesh. We have a skeletal mesh right here, the physics asset, and the Mixamo skeleton. Okay, so now we can go ahead and import our animations, this walking animation and crouch to standing. So if we select those and drag it into our folder here, you're going to see the FBX import options pops up as well. You want to uncheck the import mesh since these are animations. And here is the animations on the left side, and you're going to see this default character right here in this viewport. The navigation in the viewport is really simple. You just pan with the middle mouse button, left click to rotate. And that's pretty much all the controls you need to know. So what Mixamo allows you to do is to take any character and rig it here in Mixamo. You can also use some of the Mixamo characters. So if you head over to the characters tab, there are a bunch of different characters that you can use. They're all free. As you can see here, we can click on one and you can see the character here. You can also preview animations to that character by going to the animations tab and clicking on an animation. You can see it preview on a character. Okay, so really at the heart, Mixamo is the animation library. We have hundreds of animations here, motion capture, ranging from running, walking, sprinting, to even fighting animations. And they have these various different packs here. So we have a longbow locomotion pack, sword and shield. The main part that I want to focus on though is the fact that you can take any of these animations and use it for any sort of character you're using in Unreal Engine 4. You can essentially take an animation and retarget it, or reuse it for the Unreal SK Mannequin, which is the default third-person character in Unreal Engine. Okay, so let's go ahead and download some animations. So you can go ahead and reset the character back to the default character. So if you click over to characters here, scroll down, and go to the third page, you're going to see this Xbot character. So it's going to say proceed with this new character. Your previous character will not be saved. You're going to go ahead and click use this character. And so now we can go back to the animations tab, and you can see all the different animations, and you can preview all of those with that character. I'm just going to go ahead and click on this crouch to stand, and I'm going to go ahead and download that. You can see here there's the download settings, so you can get FBX with skin or without skin. That's just the mesh that it comes with. You can just click with skin, click download, and then there's another animation we can probably get, which is walking. This simple walking animation. As you can see, the character is not walking in place, so whenever you're using Mixamo animations where the character is moving, you want to make sure that you click in place. This is important if you're not doing any root motion animation with your character, so just keep that in mind to click the in place. So go ahead and click download FBX and download that. Then we're going to go ahead and open up Unreal, and I'll show you guys how to import the FBX. So go ahead and click download FBX and download that. Then we're going to go ahead and open up project. I'll go ahead and just drag and drop this Mixamo base. You'll see why I did this here in a second. So we can go ahead and take the Mixamo base and drag and drop it into our content browser. You're going to see this FBX import options pops up. Since this is the skeletal mesh, we're going to import the skeletal mesh, import mesh, And then you scroll down here, you want to make sure that you convert scene unit. So this is going to convert the units of character to match up with the Unreal units. This is very important, especially if you're going to be using the physics asset, which I'll talk about later. And you can either create the materials or not, it doesn't really matter. So we'll go ahead and click import. As you can see here, we've imported the mesh. We have a skeletal mesh right here, the physics asset, and the Mixamo skeleton. Okay, so now we can go ahead and import our animations, this walking animation and crouch to standing. So if we select those and drag it into our folder here, you're going to see the FBX import options pops up as well. You want to uncheck the import mesh since these are animations, and you want to make sure that you have the Mixamo base skeleton that we just imported selected, and that all looks good. You can go ahead and just click import and then import. All right, so if we go ahead and click on this crouch to stand, you're going to see that the animation here is playing, and over here you can see the walking animation as well. And real quick, I'm just going to explain these three files right here, the skeletal mesh, the physics asset, and the skeleton. So if we open the skeletal mesh, we can go ahead and dock this at the top. So if you've never used the skeletal mesh editor, this is the top toolbar right here. You got your simple buttons like save, cloth paint for cloth physics, and the asset details here. You have the materials. This holds the information for all the materials on your character. Then we have LEDs, mesh, and then the slot to change out the physics asset. It's all pretty standard. And then over here we have the skeleton tree. So this just shows you all the bones in the skeleton for a character. And then over here on the right we have the morph target preview. So if you have morph targets, like if you're going to change the shape and size of the character's body. Then over here we have the preview scene, so you can just preview an animation blueprint. Okay, and at the top here you're going to see skeleton, animation, physics. Basically that's if you were to click this, skeleton or physics, it's going to pop here as well. This is just like if you want to click those files, it's just going to switch the mode. So just think of these as modes. So if we go into skeleton right here, you're going to see the skeleton on the left, the details. So you can click on a different bone, see the details for that. And preview scene right there. Okay, and this is a little viewport as well. You can take your little mouse and zoom into your character here. Just in this skeletal mesh editor, you're going to be doing work here on your character, especially if you're taking Mixamo animations like this. And if you want to take, say, this walking animation and use it here for your third-person character mesh, or perhaps you have another character model that you want to use the animation for, like say if you're using a Daz character like you've seen in some of my other videos, or if you've purchased a character off the marketplace. Okay, so we have the skeleton, which we just went over, the mesh, the animation editor. So here we have a little timeline. We can add little notifies that we can bind events to blueprints. On the left here, we have just asset details. Okay, so information about the animation, skeleton tree as always. And then on the bottom right here, we have the asset browser, so you can click on different animations here, and you have little play buttons here, you can watch the animation. Okay, and then the physics asset, so this is like if we're going to set up like a ragdoll or something, that's where you would go to modify the physics. Okay, so a very basic overview of the skeletal mesh editor. Let's go ahead and go over how to use the Mixamo animation here for our third-person character, which is using a method called retargeting. Some of you might be familiar if you watch some of my Dad Studio to Unreal tutorials. But to take a Mixamo animation, such as this walking animation, and to retarget it for our character, what you need to go ahead and do is go to the skeleton. Here at the top, the retargeting manager. It's going to pull up this little window right here where you can retarget a character skeleton. So to do that, you're going to go here to select rig, click the drop down, and click select humanoid rig. And as you can see here, it's going to load all of these little windows right here. So we have root, pelvis, spine, all that right there. So you can go ahead and click auto map, and this is going to try to automatically assign all the bones from the Mixamo skeleton to the source. So as you can see here, root, hips, pelvis, it tries to do its best job, but really you're going to have to adjust this manually. What we're going to do is for the root, we're going to set this to none. For the pelvis, we're going to set this to the hips. For the spine 01, we're going to do the spine, and we're going to basically go through each and every single one and set this up properly. The reason why I know which ones are which is because if you go into the skeletal mesh right here, if you just search sk_mannequin, over in the skeleton, you're going to see the root, pelvis, spine. That's where I'm getting this information from. I'm just using that and changing the bones in the Mixamo skeleton accordingly. And once you've done this once here for the Mixamo character, you don't have to ever do it again. So just keep that in mind.
Open Gangnam Style.